So, I'm back in the UK. I mean, still expect some travel videos. I've got a few backlogged, but yeah, I was writing a script the other day. I decided that when I came back, I would do a video on eudaimonia because I thought it's been a while since I've done a philosophy video. But I was writing the script for that, and I realised that there was a distinction I was using between necessary and sufficient conditions, and that might not be as obvious to people as I thought, so I thought I'd do this first. So look forward to the eudaimonia video. But right now we're going to talk about the difference between a necessary and a sufficient condition. So, a necessary condition is a condition that must be fulfilled before an event can occur. So, as an example, oxygen existing is necessary for the existence of water. This is due to the fact that water is built up of oxygen, and this is where the difference becomes apparent, as oxygen existing is not sufficient for water. This is because water is constituted of oxygen and hydrogen, H2O. Hydrogen existing is also a necessary condition for the existence of water, because water is also made up of hydrogen. Neither the existence of hydrogen nor the existence of oxygen are sufficient conditions, though, for the existence of water. Why is this? This is because the sufficient condition is that both oxygen and hydrogen exist. As if one of these did not exist, then water necessarily could not exist. Let's next consider how the two types of conditions are related. Now, sufficient conditions and necessary conditions are linked. Sometimes necessary conditions make up a sufficient condition. It's not necessarily the case that one is made up of the other. For example, as we have said, oxygen existing is necessary for the existence of water, but it is not sufficient. However, we can have sufficient conditions without them being necessary. Consider the following. Take x to be any rational number. This means that you can represent it as a fraction. This is a sufficient condition for x to be a real number, but it is not necessary, as you can have real numbers that are not rational. Take pi, for example, a real number that cannot be represented by a fraction, so is non-rational, but is still real. Now, what I have presented you with here is a basic introduction to these conditions, but as with most things in philosophy, this has a fair amount of debate surrounding it. I won't get involved in that here, as it is beyond the scope of this video. Maybe one day I will, but right now, no. This video is simply a means to draw a distinction. But if you were interested in learning more about the difference between these two, then I would recommend reading some philosophy of language. In particular, I can recommend Naming a Necessity by Saul Kripke. It is very easy to read, and it's fairly short, to be fair. Anyway, that is the distinction between necessary and sufficient. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and as you already know, the next documentary style video is on eudaimonia, but I do have a few travel videos left, as I said earlier. That's the end this week. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. If you found me on YouTube, check out my TIL vids. And if you found me on TIL vids, check out my YouTube. They'll be in the description along with my socials and Reddit, and I will see you next week, babies.